But we are here, though. We are here at the Would You Rathers. Y'all know how this goes. We just going to state, would you rather have this person versus that person, or this team versus that team? And the team can be random. It can be, it can be real. It can be fantasy. It doesn't matter. So, like, for example, if I said, would you rather have my team, or would you rather have Reese's team for this week in fantasy? You might say you'd rather have my team. And why? Well, because mine looks like the winner, very simply put. So, just state who you think is going to win. And even in a series per se, right? Like best of four, best of seven, who you think is going to win? Is it going to be 4-3, 4, just how that goes. All right. So, Fred, let me see what happens with this then. The Pelicans versus the Warriors. Who would you rather take in the regular series?
Pelicans.
What's your main reason for going Pelicans over the Warriors? The defending champs, by the way.
Yeah, because
it's controlled by Eunice, then a missed time jump by Looney. Young guys, so as you said, no letdown. Looney, that's classic Golden State basketball, right? Which he gets Kuminga, then it's a real mismatch. The Poole deep three.
Fit for a squad like the Pelicans because he has such a calm demeanor, but a love for life.
They doubled him. So Brennan's got Anthony Lamb, and he leaves him. A 4-0 run by the Pels. Good setup. It'll be Zion on the reverse. It's even. Brandon Ingram, catch and shoot. Why not? Jerome into the shot clock. And a nice pass on the dive, but is Kuminga going to 3 and 4? Now Brandon beats him out front, and no count. There's a crease in that zone if he wants it.
There's a crease right there.
Yeah, and Jose's got to go up. Brandon knows it. How about a 3 ball? Yes.
The Warriors have a lot of issues right now. Klay doesn't have the same confidence. Jordan Poole is not the person that they paid. Draymond is still Draymond, but he can't be a second best player a lot of nights. No third, because Andrew Wiggins playing well. But overall, Wiseman hasn't panned out, and Looney hasn't really evolved much. Pelicans have literally everything right now. If we're being honest, they just got to stay healthy.
Okay. I think CJ is a little lackluster sometimes. And I think Steph can take advantage of that. Plus, I think it's a little early for the Warriors too. Remember last season, they started off well and then kind of slowed down, and people were thinking, "Oh, the Warriors are a little tricky right now." And I think it's just their young guys are kind of developing again.
Warriors got worse. Yeah,
worse is a bit of a stretch because I think you're integrating new pieces. So it's kind of hard to say they got worse. Again, James Wiseman, I want to be fair to. He hasn't really played like that. So I think I can't say he got worse. But I do understand why you say that though.
Well, for what they lost,
this low. No one's
they lost 4 or 5 very important pieces. Think about it. Gary Payton Jr. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
and
Jelly.
Otto Porter Jr. Yeah. JTA,
yeah. I wouldn't say JTA, cool. But Damian Lee,
for sure. Yeah.
Damian Lee didn't really play that much though. Not in the playoffs like that. He was. I'll give you Otto though, but yeah, they definitely lost some pieces. I don't necessarily want to say they got worse because again, they're just giving the young guys some time though.
Take the layup. No, that's a great look. Okay, that's a great pass. Yes, that's get to it. He's got Trey and a great pass. By the way, the Pels have not looking for pace. It's a different look. Alvarado, he's got. And Jose's there. He's got some. Done the 3-point play. Devontae out there. Beautiful drop. And Larry on the finish. Wait. Gave Devontae an opportunity to turn the corner. Let's talk about first teams, but they can definitely score with you. Devontae, Sheridan, CJ, another good look. Good job by Moody defensively. On that sequence, Larry, step through. Over they're going to go. Late pitch. And great pass.
Reese, do you also agree with Freddie? You got the Pelicans as well, or are you going with the Warriors?
No, I'm going with the Pelicans. I was actually talking to a friend of mine the other day about I understand what you're saying, Trey, but I feel like in the same breath, your window is your window. You know what I mean? And so if the Warriors GM banked on Wiseman, Moody, Poole, and Kuminga being contributing factors this year, he kind of lost his chips so far. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like he traded in those veteran guys, Gary Payton, Jelly, Otto Porter, and kind of bet on what would be his future, which I'm not mad at. You know what I mean? At some point, old guard has to transfer to new guard at some point. You know what I mean? Everybody is not going to be in their prime forever. And so I just feel like they are not going to be like, I mean, I just don't think that team can contend in the playoffs if Steph Curry at this point is not at his best. Like Freddie said, Klay Thompson is a shell of himself, and coming off of 2 injuries in a long season, like people do not understand the fact that the Warriors core has played like 4 more seasons than the other people, because deep playoff runs are basically another season. And people don't really talk about that enough, I feel like. And so when you're Klay Thompson and you came off of those injuries and you're like, oh, I'm going to just get back in the swing of things, and you end up going to the finals, it's like, damn, I didn't get no R&R. You know what I mean? I mean, and 2 months later, I'm playing again. You know what I mean? So my body ain't the same that it used to be. And Draymond's game has always kind of been the same. And so if he can't surprise people no more, you know what I mean? Like, what do you really have? Like I said, I mean, and Steph said it himself. He's already said it. Like the fact that he has to drop 40 as often as he's dropping 40 to win games. I mean, not to like just show off. Like JT dropped 40. You know what I mean? Luka dropped 40. Joel Embiid dropped 40, and them shits was definite wins. You know what I mean? Steph Curry is dropping 40 in nail biters. Like,
I get that. I get that. Yeah. No, there's a part of me, like I said, I told y'all this before, you know, I do feel like the Pelicans are a contending team. And I said that before the season began. Hell, I said that last season during the playoffs. Like if Zion came back, their numbers, like if you want to be an analytics guy, their numbers match up to the Warriors, and the Warriors ended up winning championships. So there's just a part of me that feels like I still think the Warriors come into the season, right? They'll be fine. They'll be good to go. They might even be able to get over the hump of a team like the Pelicans. But
Trey,
during the season, though, they're gonna lose. Like it's a journey. It's a journey. And again, I don't necessarily have faith that the Warriors are going to get to the championship. Like I like the Suns more so than the Warriors right now.
You were there. Spurs got 3. It's taken a long time. Williamson. That's a foul. Kuminga. And it'll be right. Man. Deep 3. Trey. Got it. Next guy over to make that rotation a little bit longer. Poole with an answer. Brandon Ingram. He's got trigger. And another. He's got 2 big ones. Kuminga denied. Bent on a step through. A little more than 2 to play. Brandon, little fall away. Trey, he thought about it. It'll be Jose. How about a triple? He's got it. Gotta go. It's on. He will go. Nice try. Their backups are hanging in there. Now Brandon Ingram into the corner. Got it. Clutch. Huge. And a 9-point lead.
So
what do you think is going to be their turnaround, bro? If I could just ask you that, as far as what's going to turn their season around. What do you think?
I can't pin. Like I think, like maybe 2 of the young bucks really catching on. Like maybe Wiseman. I think Wiseman that can improve their defense. And then you can also just get a little bit more of an interior presence to a degree. But I think maybe Wiseman.
Bingo,
I really want to say Kuminga because I'm biased with Kuminga though.
Yeah. Okay. No, I asked that just because I don't know. We may have had this conversation before, Trey. But I feel like the way that Golden State has won over this decade, or half decade, whatever you want to say, decade, is through elite high volume shooting, right? Moving the ball, so on and so forth as well. But it's not normal for teams to be dominant in playoff runs without an interior offensive and/or defensive presence. And they've done that. And I think that's kind of what led to a lot of teams' demise, trying to imitate what the Warriors were doing. And I think the Warriors are finally at a point to where they absolutely need an interior presence for sure. Because, again, Klay's not back to himself, right? He's not that other elite guy. Jordan Poole was not having a good year after he got paid. So they don't have that elite shooting like they used to anymore. Now it's like, okay, you got Steph, but shit, what else do you have? Andrew Wiggins is not an elite shooter, right? You got to have that interior guy now because you're not going to be, just hitting a barrage of threes every third quarter, right? Going to outscoring teams by 15 points every third quarter now. Now you got to have some interior presence because the game might be slowed down a bit. And I think we're finally seeing that with the Warriors. But I just want to point it out because I feel like you just kind of brought that up a bit when you was just kind of answering my question.
Yeah.
7 so far in the first of a back-to-back. Zion, good pass. So an 8-point game, they're not going anywhere, are they? Oh, CJ's got space. And he's got to get the stops. And I hear you, Willie. I hear exactly. It's doubling the ball when it goes inside. Zion just like that. But Larry's there on the clean on the run. And the wraparound. It'll be Zion Bay. And barely hangs on. Devontae, good pass for Larry. Brandon Ingram, go back the other way. Into the teeth of the defense. Great pass to Hurd. He's got the switch now. It's going to go off. A deep three. Poole got it. And a good pocket pass. It'll be Larry. A break. Larry Nance on the defense. Here comes Kuminga. And mid-range. How good big Brandon Ingram is. And
Now,
Tough though. I think that's a tough ask for that team to get that interior. Because I mean, like Freddie said, I mean it's tough, right? I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing.
I don't necessarily think it's tough because again, you're asking to have somebody like pretty much get your back. So from a dog standpoint, like from Steph, I'm like, oh, finally, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if they had someone.
But we talking about a guy in Wiseman who didn't play a whole season in college.
2 games.
Didn't play his first year because of injury. Barely played his second year. This is his third year now, right?
I want to say
Came in with Vanilla, so yeah.
Right, and so it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying we're asking too much of him, but it's kind of like, I do think that because I mean he has to figure it out now. Like now he has to really figure out to playing real NBA minutes. Like I feel like if they really want to get him involved, it's time. Like they should not have played Kevon. And I'm just gonna have to say that first. Kevon Looney is not a type of guy that you really needed on your checkbook for the next 3 years. I
think you get Kevon because of history, because he can also be a backup if push comes to shove.
JaVale McGee is with Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
I mean, JaVale's gone though. Like, and again, Kevon did work in the playoffs, so I can't.
Why wouldn't they bring Boogie back? Like, why in the hell would they not bring?
I mean, we can say that, right? But I mean, why didn't a lot of teams?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. So it's like that. I think there's something going on there. So I made the same thing with Reese about Dwight Howard. Like, why wasn't he on the squad? You know, like, but he wants a multi-year deal.
Yeah.
People don't have that confidence in him. So I get it.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.